Hello, here we are with a hands-on of a pre-production Sony Xperia Z. Now I want to stress the fact that this is a pre-production unit, so some of the things here may change by the time the final unit comes to market, which is expected to be the 1st of March in the UK, but this should give you a pretty accurate representation of what you could get should you be looking for one of these devices. So let's take a quick look around the device. Starting on the front, we've got this whopping 5-inch Full HD reality display using Sony Mobile Bravo Engine 2. It's got 16 million colours, 443 ppi and a resolution of 1920 by 1080p, and initial impressions are really good with this screen. It's really bright, really vivid, we like it. We've got on the front a 2.2 megapixel HD front facing camera. We've got a variety of sensors. We've got the Sony logo, we've got the earpiece up there. We haven't got any physical buttons, they're all part of the software here and part of the screen, so that's the screen and the software that I'm interacting with here, not the device. We've got this sort of piece of black glass on the front here, and then we've got a grill here for the microphone for calls. On the bottom of the device we've just got information about the device itself, so regulatory type information, and what could possibly be a little microphone down here as well. You'll see a small little recess here that follows around to the other side. That's a lanyard strap, which is a very popular addition to Sony units. Not everybody wants them, but for people who do need that, it's a nice touch. They've kept that on this very flash Xperia Z. We've then got the speaker for the device. This is the sole speaker, the loudspeaker. We'll come on to that in more detail in a short while. We've got the volume rocker keys here, up and down, and we've got the big focused power button here. You'd be hard pushed to see it, but you've got a little bit here that we can open up to reveal the micro SIM card slot. You've got a nice bit of play on this cover. Now you need this cover because it's IP rated, and to satisfy the IP conditions you need the ports and everything protected. There's no notification on here that this is the SIM card slot, but it's not very often you'll be accessing that, but it's nicely tucked away there. So nothing more to really speak of on this side. And then on the top of the device we've got the headphone jack. Now this does have a little symbol on the cover, and again you can open this up to reveal the 3.5mm headphone jack. Nice play on the covers, they don't feel too tight or too loose. Nice job there by Sony. Remains flush along the top, and you can kind of see actually as well we've got this sort of black edging around this sort of glossy blue black glass. Coming around then to the other side, now you can see that we've got a little micro SD card slot here, but there's also a cover over another port, and that's the micro USB port for charging and data connectivity, and also for TV out via MHL if you don't have the wireless screen sharing mode as an option. So we've then got the micro SD card slot under here. Now this supports up to 32GB cards. At the time of recording we have tested a 64GB card and it was not supported. We've then got two sort of gold pins here, and that be for accessories that Sony bring out for this device. So example, a dock, you can be able to pop it in there and it'll charge through those pins. Remains completely flush down here. Then coming over to the back, we've got some regulatory information down here. We've got this tempered glass on the back and the front, and tapping it there you can hear how it sounds a little bit plasticky, potentially a little bit cheap. It doesn't quite have that really polished high-end feel of the iPhone, but it feels better than the likes of the Samsung Galaxy S3, which has a lot of what some would consider cheaper plastics. You've got the Xperia logo here, that's sort of etched into the glass. There's no raised texture to that. And then up at the top here we've got the 13 megapixel camera with their Clove Technology. We've got the LED flash, a microphone, and of course this records in Full HD, and we'll come on to that in more detail as we take a look around the device. So as you've probably seen by the specifications, we've got a quad-core processor in here, clocked at 1 GHz. We've got 16 gig of internal memory. Approximately 12.5 is available to you as the user with the OS installed. You've got Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS, GLONASS, You've got 4G on here, you've got 3G, you've got NFC, you've got a 2330 milliamp hour battery sealed under the back cover here, so you can't remove that as a user. Weighs in at 146 grams and it's just 7.9 millimeters thin. Really impressive device. First impressions are good, although it's big, it doesn't feel overly heavy or cumbersome in the hand. Quite impressed. Okay, so let's take a look at the software on the device. So here we've got the home screens, which we can scroll through as you'd come to expect on Android devices. If you haven't seen much about Android before, then there's plenty of videos on the internet that you can check out. Now, as you can see, as we scroll through the home screens, we've got these little icons up top that show us which home screen we're at. If we do sort of a little pinch on the screen, I say that, there we go. We've got the ability to customize our home screens, so we can add home screens. We can remove them by clicking the little X icon. We've also got the option to choose which home screen we want as our main home screen by tapping the little home icon here. So if I tap home, I'm now taken to this screen rather than this one that I would normally prefer as my default home screen. But if I come back out there, just do that little tap, press the home screen icon again, press the home button, and that becomes my home screen yet again. We can scroll through or down from the top here to get our notifications. Now, being a pre-production unit, you can see it's doing some reporting on issues that we've had with this device, but you've got shortcuts to your sound, your Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi, your data, or you can go straight into the settings menu from here. Going back very quickly to the home screens, you've got the option to customize it by adding widgets. So loads of different widgets depending on what you've got installed, but you can simply select one, press and hold, and you can drag it to a home screen that has sufficient space. You'll be notified where there is one with space, so I could create a new one here, and there we go. I can go back and I can do apps. I can do the exact same thing. I've got the ability to choose wallpapers, be it album art or live wallpapers that are animated, and of course you can set images that you take on the camera as well. And then you've got different theme modes which give a nice colour mode throughout the operating system that Sony have installed here as well. So got the home screens there. I can go back to my main home screen. You can see I've got this little icon here. I can press that. Now you've got your running applications, and then you've got these new little features here which you can tap on, and they open up little windows of little tools. Now there's lots of different ones that you can actually download from the Play Store, but you've got kind of like the equivalent of Samsung's pop-out window of their video player, but you can actually have notes and a few things sort of going on the screen at once. So you've got a sound recorder there, a timer, and then I can add more from the Play Store or other ones that have been installed. Okay, so let's take a look at the settings. So let's first of all start off with About Phone. We can scroll down here and you can see it's the C6603 running Android version 4.1.1. There will be an update to Android version 4.2 for this device. You can add all your various different accounts, Google accounts, Facebook, corporate accounts, Evernote, Sony network accounts, and much more. You've got a setup guide here, so if you're a first-time user, there's a few hints and tips and tricks to get you going. You've got backup and reset options for Wi-Fi passwords and things like that. It's a nice feature that Sony sort of have on here. You've got your language and input settings. Now we've got another video dedicated to the language options, but you can change your menu languages, and you've got a vast array of languages available there for the menu, and you've got the same options when it comes to the keyboards. There's a whole array of different writing languages that you can use to select, and just to show you that in action, we can go into the messaging screen and we can start to type out a message. We've got an English keyboard here, but we can switch through using this button here to trigger the different keyboards and write in our preferred writing language. If we go back into the settings menu, we've got features about Xperia here, so that this is a Sony PlayStation certified device, so you can play PlayStation games on the device. You've got MirrorLink technology, and that's to allow you to wirelessly share your Xperia Z's screen with a enabled television, most commonly a Sony television. You've got power management options here, so one of the standout features of the Z is the fact that it's got battery stamina mode, which is the opportunity to turn off and customize the settings of what happens when you press the power button. The battery stamina mode is expected to increase your battery life up to 4 times in standby mode, because what it's doing is when you power the screen down, it's switching off the settings that you choose, but it would be looking to switch off Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and things you wouldn't be needing your device to utilize when the screen is off, to conserve power. And then when you switch the screen back on, the idea is that those connections and things will switch back on. You've got storage, so there's 16 gig of internal memory on this device. Now we've installed some apps and things on here, but it's kind of split down. You've got just shy of 2 gig in phone memory, and you've got 10.5 gig in additional internal storage. So we've got 1.46 gig available from the phone memory, and then we've got 8.99 gig available. If this was a clean install, you'd have about 12.5 gig of the 16 gig available to you for storage of things. But of course you've got the micro SD card slot on the side that support cards up to 32 gigabytes. So you've got your main Bluetooth, Wi-Fi settings, sound and display settings. In display you can turn off the mobile Bravia engine to perhaps conserve battery life a little bit more. You've got some of your options for customization, including the wallpaper, the brightness, sleep timer and font size. So if you're a little bit hard of sight, you can change the size of the font, or you can make it smaller if you prefer. So that's a look at some of the settings. We can then go into the applications tray, and as I say, we've installed some apps on here, but as standard it came installed with Google Chrome and a lot of the other Google services, including Google Search, Gmail, Google Plus, Navigation, Maps, Messenger. Sony have then installed the likes of Music Unlimited, their streaming service, and they've included an Office suite on here as well. They've got this Smart Connect, which is designed to activate when you do certain things. So if you connect a set of headphones, it might start your music player. If you connect a television, it might sort of bring up your file explorer. It's entirely up to you what you can do. It can be customized for different times of the day and switched on. You can add events and things like that. There's a whole host of different options that you've got there. We'll cover that in more detail in another video. You've got Sony Car Mode to make for safe when driving, so you can add different things to your screen here to enhance your usability when in a vehicle. So you've got location, media, settings, phone, just quick access and easier, clearer things to use. We can navigate back here and exit like so. You can customize the menu structure in here, whether you want it in your own order, alphabetical, most used, recently installed. You can search for applications, and you've got more settings there in terms of uninstalling, sharing things. So I can click share. Unfortunately that's not working at the moment because we haven't got a mobile data connection, but lots of different sort of ways of customizing the menu a little bit more for you. So you can go into customize, and this goes back to your home screen, things like that. Taking a look at the phone dialer, you click in here, fairly straightforward, big on-screen dialer. You can see your calls list. Now we haven't done any as yet on this device. You've got your favorites. You can synchronize your contacts. Now we haven't done that as yet. Add them. Got all your different sort of settings and options as you sort of come to expect on here. Let's take a look at the web browser. So we're just loading over Wi-Fi into the Clove website here. We can pinch and zoom in and out on the screen. We should also be able to double tap. There you go, slight lag there. You can zoom in and out like that. You can orientate the device in landscape or portrait mode, and if we sort of scroll through the page, we can play a video here. So this is a YouTube video. Just turn the sound right up for you. Picture quality is superb. I'm not sure how well that's coming out on camera. The sound quality is pretty good as well. It doesn't really distort at high volumes, and this is where this speaker is. It's not the loudest speaker I've heard, but it's pretty good quality at the highest volume. One of the downsides to it is where it's located. I think you can easily put your finger or your hand over it to muffle the sound. It'd be nice to have an additional speaker the other side or something to give that slightly better audio experience. Let me just demonstrate that a bit. So if I and you can see how it could be easy when you're holding the device to muffle the speaker. And I don't know how well it picks up, but like the directional sound, because of it being just one speaker. So we can come out of that. So let's take a look at the camera then on the Xperia Z. So this is one of the standout features of this device. It's a 13 megapixel snapper, and it's got a lot to live up to. There's a lot of good cameras on the market now, including those on previous Sony devices. So there's no physical camera shutter button on here. You actually have to use the on-screen controls for that. So you can see up in the top corner we've got the scene selection here. It's in superior auto mode at the moment, which is an automatic mode for essentially detecting the best settings for the content that you are filming or taking a picture of. But you've got options such as normal, burst, picture effect, scene selection, sweep panorama, and front video. So you can see here you get some controls over the balance, the flash, and then you can go into the full settings for more detailed controls. You've got burst mode, which you get on a lot of cameras, or you can have apps that do this, but it's pretty quick on the Xperia Z here. So let's just give you a quick demonstration of that if we can. Now, if you heard that, in that short space of time, it's taken 51 shots, and that is a super quick burst mode. That's one of the standout features I think about this camera. If you want to capture action, you really can do it on here. I'm not saying you can't get other apps that won't do it on other devices, but 51 shots is incredible. I mean, you can just see there, our gallery is now going to be full of shots of the backing board here. So just come back out, and then let's look at some of the other things you've got here. So you've got picture effects. So just give you a little different play with effects when you're taking the picture. It's a nice touch. Some will love it, some won't like it. You've got some a shortcut there to actually then go through to the options again. Got a fisheye there. Just a different way of taking the picture and giving it a little bit of a fun effect. You've got scene selection, where you can control what you're taking a picture of here. So soft skin, soft snap, landscape, night portrait. This is where you're in control a little bit more. You've got all the flash settings here, including red eye reduction and fill flash. And then you've got more settings here, including the actual resolution. You've got a timer. Touch to capture. where it's stored, and so on. You've then got sweep panorama. As the name and description suggests, you take shots panning across like so. You can have the photo light on or off if you choose. You've got the front camera. So it's a 2.2 megapixel camera here, and there you can see you've got our video equipment, but you've still got the same sort of settings. Not going to go through all of them, a lot of them are self-explanatory that you can sort of see there on the screen. We can then go to video camera. So this then allows us to take video footage with the rear facing camera. We've got the options of video light. We've got all the other settings such as scene modes, video resolution. So you've got lots of control, and one of the big things, this is the first smartphone to have HDR on the video. That's thanks to Sony's technology and XMOR sensors. You've now got HDR on video, the first device to have this, or first smartphone device to have this feature. So you've got white balance, image stabilization, geotagging, whether you have the microphone on or not. You've then got the ability to flick it around to the front facing camera and record video as well. Now we'll be doing some tests on both of these cameras in a separate video. So that's really about it for the Sony Xperia Z. We're going to cover more features of the Z in more detail on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Clove Technology. So be sure to check that out for more detailed footage of the Sony Xperia Z. Thanks for watching.